I had paid for half the wedding, only to discover that my invitation was decorative. The photos, I was told, were for the younger crowd, so I made sure there was no honeymoon. The idea came to me while balancing quarterly reports for Hamilton and Dow. Royce, the architecture firm I built from the ground up after my husband disappeared to Singapore 25 years ago. A faint tremor in my right hand interrupted the rhythm of my pen. Early Parkinson's, my secret companion. I pressed the hand under the desk until it stopped shaking. A knock on the office door broke the silence. "Mom?" my eldest James called. "We're in the dining room. Sunday dinner, our weekly performance of affection and ambition." James sat at the head of the table as if he owned it. At 46, he'd mastered that blend of charm and quiet ruthlessness that made clients trust him and employees fear him. Beside him was Clara, 43, tapping her manicured nails against a glass of Merlot, the sound steady as a metronome. And then there was Lydia, 31, my free-spirited youngest. Arriving late, barefoot in sandals, phone in hand. "I have news," Lydia announced. Ethan proposed. She thrust her left hand forward, a diamond winking like it was in on the joke. "Congratulations," I said calmly. James and Clara exchanged a glance. Not joy, calculation. Ethan Blake, a 35-year-old high school teacher with a romantic streak and an allergy to ambition. Not exactly Hamilton material. "We're thinking June," Lydia continued. "Nothing extravagant. I'll handle half the expenses," I offered. That was my first mistake. Chapter 2. The texts after dinner. Lydia forgot her phone on the table. A message lit the screen before I could call her back. "The old lady offered to pay for half. This will be easier than we thought." Then another. "Don't worry about the budget. She won't question anything as long as she feels important." I stared at the glowing words until they blurred, then carefully placed the phone back where she'd left it. My pulse beat in my ears. Later, in my study, I opened an old file, Marcus Correspondence. My ex-husband's ghost waited inside. Postcards from Milan, Lisbon, Cairo, all signed, "Love, Dad." If I needed allies against my own blood, perhaps the past had more to offer than the present. Chapter 3. The Dinner. "Is that what you're wearing, Mother?" Lydia asked as I entered the restaurant. 6 flights of stairs had left me breathless. The tremor was worse tonight. "The elevator's broken," I said. "No one mentioned that," she murmured. Ethan's mother, Deborah, rose to greet me, dripping sympathy like perfume. "At least you made it, dear. These downtown places can be so exhausting at our age." "Our age differs by 20 years, I replied smoothly. They had already ordered appetizers. "We know you're busy with the company," Ethan said. Busy, fragile, irrelevant. They'd scripted my role perfectly. That night, I discovered my medication bottle in the bathroom trash, replaced with look-alike vitamins. When I confronted Lydia, she smiled. "Mom, maybe you're just forgetting things. You know, with age." She wasn't clever enough to hide her laptop search history. Signs of early dementia. Legal guardianship of parent. Power of attorney process. I began documenting everything. Chapter 4. The investigation. My old private investigator, Simon Hale, met me in a discreet cafe. "Ethan Blake isn't his real name," Simon said, sliding over a file. "His actual name is Evan Brooks. He's done this before, twice. Gets close to women from wealthy families, marries in, extracts money, and vanishes." The photos showed Evan with 2 other women, both blonde and trusting. Both vanished. "And my children?" I asked. Simon hesitated. "James has been diverting company funds? Gambling debts. Clara? She's being blackmailed. By James. She had an affair with a key client and he has proof." The world tilted, but I didn't flinch. I'd negotiated with foreign investors twice my size. I could negotiate with betrayal. Chapter 5. The ghost account Marcus, my ex-husband, was still alive in Zurich. When I called, his voice was weak, threaded with illness. "You found me at last, Catherine," he said. I suppose you want the account. You mean the one you built behind my back? The same. There's 42 million now. I never touched it after I left. I thought I'd return it one day. I flew to Zurich under the guise of medical treatment. The reunion was cold but efficient. When I returned, I had more than money. I had leverage. Chapter 6. The Trap Eye reorganized Hamilton and Royce under a phantom structure, a network of holding companies and trusts so complex that only I and my accountant understood it. To the outside world, I appeared confused, aging, pliable. To my children, I was prey. Simon's team gathered evidence, Lydia's emails conspiring with Evan, James's financial theft. Clara's coerced compliance. The pieces arranged themselves neatly. When Lydia came by to borrow another $50,000 for wedding upgrades, I smiled. Of course, darling. Let me handle the reservations myself. The Bora Bora villa was booked, and entirely cancelable in my name. Chapter 7. The Wedding. The estate sparkled under a flawless sky. Lydia looked angelic in silk and deceit. Deborah hovered nearby, issuing orders as if she owned the day. When I arrived, the photographer hesitated. Just the younger generation first, Mrs. Hamilton. The humiliation was public. Precise. Perfect. I endured it all in silence. That evening, during Lydia's speech, she thanked everyone before adding, and to my mother, for her generous financial support, a line so dismissive it sliced the air. Guests shifted uncomfortably. Rebecca, no. Clara, avoided my eyes. The next morning, when they landed in Bora Bora, the resort manager informed them the villa was canceled. By the time Lydia stormed into my house, still in travel clothes, Simon had already positioned cameras. You humiliated us, she cried. No, I said softly. I exposed you. I handed her a folder. Evan Brooks. That's your husband's real name. He's wanted in 2 states. And you... I lifted another file. Tampered with prescription medication. A felony! The front door opened. James and Clara entered. Mother, what is this? James demanded. Your meeting with Eastwood Capital was canceled, I said. They received a full record of your embezzlement. His color drained. Clara began to cry. You conspired to remove me from my company, I said quietly. Now you'll watch as I take it back. Chapter 8. The Reckoning. The Hamilton and Royce boardroom was silent when I entered. Simon stood at the back, recording everything. Beside me, Margaret Cho, my new CFO, once fired by James, distributed folders of evidence. Effective immediately, I said. All executive powers of James Hamilton are revoked. Clara retains her position under supervision. Lydia Blake? I paused, letting her absence hang in the air. Faces legal review. By noon? Every password changed, every lock replaced. At sunset, I stood in my office overlooking the city, my tremor steady but contained. Simon joined me. You could have pressed charges, he said. I still could, I replied. But punishment isn't the same as correction. Chapter 9. The rebuilding months passed. James entered rehabilitation for gambling. Clara worked harder than ever, humility softening her. Lydia, alone and penniless, found work at a small art gallery in the city. I visited once, unannounced. She was explaining a sculpture to a customer, voice quiet, posture unsure. When she saw me, she stiffened. Mom, I didn't think you'd come. I wanted to see your work. Her smile was uncertain. It's not much, but it's mine. That was more than I'd ever heard from her before. Chapter 10. The Foundation. A year later, Hamilton and Royce hosted its 40th anniversary. I took the podium. This company was born from betrayal, I began, and rebuilt through forgiveness. We stand today not because of perfection, but because of persistence. In the front row, Clara smiled through tears. James, sober and steady, held his first-year recovery coin. And at the back, Lydia, in simple clothes, applauded quietly. After the ceremony, we gathered at my home. Dinner was modest, laughter genuine. James raised his glass. To second chances, he said. Lydia added, and to earning what we're given. I touched the silver bracelet on my wrist, a replica of the one Marcus gave me decades ago. To truth, I said softly. The only inheritance worth keeping. Epilogue. The garden. The wind whispered through the roses as I placed a small plaque beside Marcus's memorial bench. Some debts are paid in silence. Some love survives through wisdom. For years I'd feared losing everything. My health, my family, my legacy. But the tremor in my hand had taught me something. Control isn't strength. Letting go when necessary is. As dusk settled over the garden, I could almost hear his voice again. Not Marcus's, not Simon's, but my own. Older, steadier, free.